evening, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And welcome to our trailer reaction for House of the Dragon. This is the official trailer.
Official trailer.
We had a teaser one, what was it, about a month ago or so?
Yeah.
And then we've had some little, here's what's coming to HBO Max.
Yeah. Pictures on Entertainment Weekly or whatever,
a little bit of an interview and stuff. So we'll get into it, but I'm interested in what they're going to show us here because they're making a big push at San Diego Comic-Con. Here we go, House of the Dragon, and go.
He's afoot.
Hi.
Enter the Dragon. No, different movie. Is this a Warner Brothers? The chair.
The dream. It was clearer than a memory. And I heard the sound of thundering hooves, splintering shields and ringing swords.
That's a tournament.
And I placed my heir upon the Iron Throne. And all the dragons roared as one.
It's kind of...
I consider the matter urgent. That
King's
of your
Landing.
succession.
Well, who else would have a claim?
The firstborn child.
Look at that helmet.
Rhaenyra.
Right.
No queen has ever sat the Iron Throne.
The king has an heir, Daemon Targaryen.
I will not be made to choose between my brother and my daughter.
Each of the houses.
Rhaenyra's succession will be challenged. Knives will come out.
You are the king. Your duty is to take a new wife.
I have decided to name a new heir. I'm your heir.
Rama!
He's afoot.
Do you think the realm will ever accept me as their queen?
A woman would not inherit the Iron Throne.
Because that is the order of things.
I am
No?
queen, I will create a
No,
new
she was-
order.
Your family has dragons.
There's been a fight.
92 ad.
Power men should never have trifled with.
If Rhaenyra comes into power, she could cut off any challenge to her succession.
I am to inherit the Iron Throne. She will block my way.
Actually, that crowd's pretty
Our hearts remain as one.
Oh, our hearts were never one.
Burn.
Never imagined yourself on the Iron Throne.
Where is duty? Where is sacrifice?
Take her fight.
Hello. Nice. So, a lot more dragons.
Well, I mean, if it's going to be called House of the Dragon, there needs to be some dragons.
Probably.
And it's about the Targaryens. There better be dragons.
Yay.
Yay, dragons. Okay, so I loved the original Game of Thrones show, even the last 2 seasons. I will stand on that mountaintop as long as I can. I am excited for more storytelling within this Westeros universe.
Mhm.
And to go back and tell the story of the Targaryens, I think is a really good point because they are the Mad Kings.
Right, and we got, a little bit of their history, which, in the first couple seasons was like, meh, okay, whatever. And then
Right.
at the end, it's this huge deal that we're all like, wait, what? What happened? Who slept with who now?
Right.
So yeah, it's good to it's good that this is the first one. If they do more, that they go back and kind of dive deeper into, because they did just give you a little tiny bit at the end that meant so much.
Right. I think, no, please be nice in the comments. I believe a lot of this is centered around the latest book that George just put out, which is like encyclopedia of the Targaryen family. So
Okay.
it's not necessarily it's like an encyclopedia within the universe, if I remember correctly. And I want to say it's House and Fire, but I think that's one of the other books. But that book is mostly about the Targaryens and the history of them and their
Right.
kind of their story. And if this is kind of based around that, and George is involved in this show, uh, I like that idea of spending time with the Targaryens because, and let's be honest, we spent a lot of time with the Lannisters and the Starks in this, in the modern version of this, and we got a little bit with Dany, but Dany didn't even know her own history until, like you were saying, much later in the show.
Yeah,
and we didn't get to see a lot of the Tullys outside of some political intrigue and stuff.
Yeah, we could visit them some more too.
Yeah,
and
Dorne.
Dorne. Yeah, I was just gonna say some of the other islands, kind of.
But I like this idea of, and part of the reason why I'm excited about the show, A, dragons, B, the creators of the show have said, we're not telling a prequel for prequel money grab's sake. We're telling a story that affects the world of Westeros and this universe that George has built. And they got the call to, they pitched this idea and they got the call, and HBO was like, yeah, let's do it. So if HBO said, yeah, let's do it, they're going to put season 5, 6, 7 money into the show, not the first 1, 2 seasons of the show. And so that's why you got a lot more dragons in the trailer. And King's Landing is essentially the same.
I don't think that was
different.
I don't think that was King's Landing. I think that was I want to say Casterly Rock, and I don't think that's it. Where the Targaryens lived, it was the black.
Yeah.
Where Dany brought the
Dragonstead.
No, I think it's Dragon Stan or Sted. Dragonstead. But it's because it was on the beach. It was very. All that was left was the keep, basically that dome thing. By the time we got to it, because dragons and war and whatever, and nobody lived there anymore. So, but I think that's what that was.
And we want to be completely transparent here. We're only coming from it from the show, and it's been over a year since we've done our rewatch of Game of Thrones overall.
Well, to be fair, most people are coming at all of Game of Thrones from the show,
right?
Because I mean, we both went through the first book.
I'm mostly through the first book. I haven't done the whole series, and I haven't done any of the other, like I said, the House and Fire, whatever. Encyclopedia. A lot of that stuff is foreign to me.
Yeah.
So
we have the books.
We have them. We just haven't listened to them all the way through.
Because they are
they're
thick.
They're thick and
they're
this is gonna sound weird. They're thick and they're dense.
Right.
They're like Dune dense. Like there's a lot of different characters and a lot of different things going on.
Right. And it's hard because we have the audiobooks, so it's a little harder to necessarily keep up with.
I need a flow chart while I'm listening to everything that's going on, which is part of the reason why everybody loved these books.
Yeah.
Is that they were so dense and it was so world building, and that no one was safe. And one of the reasons why people climbed onto the show was the idea of, you killed off the major character 9 episodes into the first season. Like the main character of the first season is killed off.
Yeah.
And also, I one of the things that pulled people in on the original series was the violence and the boobs.
Yeah.
And in that, to grab your attention, to titilize you, for lack of a better term, when you were doing all of that, they were building this world and doing a political thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Although we love Game of Thrones for the dragons, for the Night King, for the big battle of bastards, all of that stuff,
Red Wedding.
Red Wedding, uh, what is the battle? The first one when Tyrion leads the Lannisters onto the beach.
Oh,
Uh,
the one at
that
King's Landing that I don't
that's
remember.
gonna kick my ass. I love that battle. But we love all of the show of that. But really, at its base, it's a political drama. It's a medieval political fantasy drama.
Yeah.
And from this trailer, from what they're showing us here, hey, look, dragons, hey, cool sword fight. But at the base of it is a big political drama about who is the proper heir, and does the king get to pick his heir, or does the system already have a thing in place that says the next heir is the next male heir? And having that conversation, is it the male heir or the heir, the blood heir?
Right. Well, I
is
think
an interesting conversation to be having right now.
It has to do with the medieval themes,
Right.
which is why a lot of people like medieval stories, because there is no police, there is no government, there is the king or the queen, and their word is law.
Right.
So whatever the current seated monarch in the area you live says, that's what the rules are. And so that's very intriguing and opens up a lot of ability to kind of almost do whatever you want, right? Because
right.
nowadays people would be like, you can't do that, you'd be arrested, right? Well, then you could. And historically, there was a lot of fighting for the throne. That was, 90% of what people who weren't just digging in the ground trying to eat their next meal were actually, they were bored. And so they, were busy poisoning each other and killing small children, as we watched the other day. So I think another thing that's gonna be awesome about this, or what helps, is you can never watch Game of Thrones for the first time again. You will never see Ned Stark killed in the 9th episode and go, oh my god, they just killed Ned. Yeah.
Right.
You can never do that again. Yes, we've rewatched the series a couple of times, but you never have that, oh my god, they just did that. And so now we're getting a new one that we don't know what's going to be. And so that's exciting.
And we're also coming from the first 5 seasons were all based off of the books. So we knew what the general story was going to be. Although this is based on, if I remember correctly, based on that one book, or at least the idea behind that book. The story to us is going to be, for most of us, going to be unknown. There's going to be people out there who just know everything because they are steeped in the lore of Game of Thrones. But for us, I'm excited because I want to. One of the reasons why we are pulled to Game of Thrones so much and why we love it so much is the unknown of it all.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you're going to do this complex conversation of what it means to be an heir, a woman, loyalty, fealty, all of that kind of conversation, and then you're going to throw a dragon in every once in a while, people are going to eat this up. I hope. But there's also the other part, which is why I kind of made this comment early on, is we loved the last 2 seasons of the show. So I'm worried about the discord of what this conversation is going to be about, the conversation of the show, and not just allowing the show to be what it is. And it's a legitimate conversation to be having right now. I know you don't care.
I don't care what
in the grand scheme of things, I don't care either. But the conversation around the conversation is going to be very interesting to a point for me. Because they're going to have this, because the conversation is going to be, is this too woke about women's having a right to be heir? Which is what the original show was talking about with Cersei and Dany the whole time.
I have nothing to say about any of that, because if people say it, I don't. You're wrong. Just move along.
Moving on. So, and Matt Smith is going to be the bad guy. He's going to be bad guy. He's going to be the antagonist. Let's put it that way. And Matt Smith as a Targaryen. That's from jump. That's been our whole. That's been my whole thing. Is Matt Smith is a Targaryen.
The wig will be a moment of adjustment, but I'm actually starting to get there with it. And the more they, a lot of what you've seen have been, again, like Entertainment Weekly pictures or whatever, where it's a really good wig, but it's still a wig, and and it's like a close up right here, and you're like, that's not his hairline, and and that's not the color of his hair, but in some of these scenes where they're a little bit more moving around, and maybe have a hood on or whatever, it works. He had it tied back, that works much better, and it's easier to kind of get over the jarring.
I also, for me, with him, watching him be the best swordsman is going to be the part for me that's going to be the wig. Yes, it's a conversation that needs to be had about the jarringness for us as Whovians, but watching Matt Smith run around with a sword and hacking people down without remorse, it's going to be an adjustment for a lot of people too, a lot of Whovians too, because the Doctor is so anti that.
It's like David Tennant in Good Samaritan, right? We were just talking about that.
Yeah, or Kilgrave.
Or Kilgrave,
being
a bad guy. And you're like, but you're a good... But they do it very well. But they do it
very, very well. So that's part of the reason why we're also excited for the show, just for Matt Smith. So let us know what you thought of this trailer and our discussion about it and our reaction in the comments down below. Like we said, please be nice. We don't know everything, so if there's something you want to teach us about it, do it nicely. That's a requirement around here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications, follow us on all the social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Links in the description down below. And until next time, cult members, good afternoon, good evening, and good night now.